Rich.
You're listening to Shooting the Breeze with your man, Byron and Lloyd. Dig it, dig it, dig
it. All right. This is Shooting the Breeze with your man, Byron and Lloyd. I switched up theme songs on you. You liked it, Peanuts? Anyway, man, amazing stuff happening over in Europe today. Like I said, everybody's hearing about Brexit. And basically what it is that the UK, Britain, has voted to leave the European Union. For folks who don't know, the European Union is all the major European countries are in a union where it's basically borderless. It's more for economic trade. And, but as you know today, the people voted in England to get out, and the stock market tumbled 600 points here. Every economic market around the world has tumbled. Thank God it's Friday, because if it was Monday, Jesus Christ, who knows what it would do tomorrow. Hopefully the markets will calm down and the panic will stop by Monday, we hope. Because they say if it tumbles another 600, we could be seeing a recession. And what's crazy is that when they break down the people who voted for it, most of the people who voted for it were people who were 60 and over who were totally uneducated. And the total proof of that is they're having buyer's remorse, because today in the UK the most Googled things were what is the European Union and what is Brexit? Or how does Brexit affect England, which is crazy that folks would vote for something they have no idea about until you look at the American electoral process, and then it's not so crazy. Because you got Donald Trump over there, and look, here's Donald Trump's chance to be presidential. He's over in England during what people are saying could be the most historic moment in England's history. And that's saying a lot, because England's been around for how long now? 600 years or longer, right? I don't know. It's a solid 600 years, right? To say the most historic day in English history, and Donald Trump's there. But what is Donald Trump there to do? Is Donald Trump there to talk about Brexit? Is Donald Trump there? Here's his chance to be presidential once again. I hate to laugh, but it's comical. Donald Trump is comical, man. He's a mango skin, you know what I mean, carnival barker. Here's his chance to be presidential. And I'm going to read some of the quotes from you. Instead of being presidential, he's talking about thread counts on it. He's over at his own golf course called Turnberry. And instead of talking about Brexit, and all these reporters are throwing questions at him about Brexit, instead this dude's talking about sprinkler systems on his golf course. And he's talking about thread counts into sheets. And that people ain't complaining that much about the rooms because they're nice. You know what I mean? And a lighthouse that's on hole 10. This is what this dude is talking about now. And he happens to be in England during what people, like I said, are considered the most historic moment in British history. And let me read some of the quotes. And then we'll get on to this flood in West Virginia. That's crazy, because there's like 200 people trapped in a mall. It's wild. It's wild. And so, you know, it's a lot of people dead. It's a tragic situation. But like I said, let's see what our Republican nominee has to say about it. Like I said, it's comical, man. And look, this is a transcript from everything he was asked. Now, they keep throwing questions at him, and like I said, it's a 2-day trip. Like I said, you would think that this trip was designed to like I said, to make him look more presidential, that he would meet with foreign leaders. I'm talking about this is so major that David Cameron, the Prime Minister of England, said he was going to resign today. Said he's done. He's just going to walk away from the job in October, right? Because basically this vote was based on they harped on the same thing that Donald Trump is harping on over here. Xenophobia, the fear of immigrants and foreigners taking jobs or, destroying our culture. That's basically what they harped on and called these people into in Britain to make this choice. And this is a bad choice. You look at it. It's bad economically. The trade is going to be harder for Britain. It's going to be harder I'm telling you, their economy is going to take a hit. It's going to take years to recover. right, because they said it's going to take at least 2 years to extricate themselves from the European Union to begin with. So we're talking about a vote that could affect the world economy in Britain for years to come. 5 to 10 years down the road, we could still be feeling pains from this. But like I said, first of all, Donald Trump said he was glad that Scotland decided to take their country back, to take their sovereignty back, even though he didn't know that Scotland overwhelmingly voted to stay in the European Union. And then on Twitter, they destroyed him. If I was you, I'd advise you to go to Twitter and read what the Scottish people said to Donald Trump, because I said I wasn't going to cuss on here. I'm going to try to keep it a little family friendly, and I'm going to keep my profane obscenities down to a minimum. And some of the things they say I couldn't say on here. I couldn't say in good conscience anyway because they're so profane. But needless to say, they destroy this dude and make him look like the clown he is. And I could read some of those tweets, but I can't because basically all of them were obscenities and calling him an idiot. So, and that's why people around the world are laughing at us, is because this guy, this is the best we can do. And I hate to laugh because this dude can be president, man, which is scary, but it's comical at some point. And there's a small part of me on the inside that would want him to win. So all these idiots who don't know better, and when I say idiots, I'm not going to say everybody that supports Donald Trump's an idiot. There's a lot, trust me, that are ignorant. And they're not idiots, they're ignorant. They're misinformed. And there's a lot of people who are gullible. And then you got your small pocket of people who would vote anybody that's not with the establishment or would vote against Hillary Clinton because of all these right-wing conspiracy theories about Hillary. Even though, let me reiterate, she's broken no laws. You can allege all the stuff you want about her, but if she had broken any laws or has broken any laws, she'd be indicted by now. And I had a friend who said on Facebook the other day, if she was, and this is a woman now, I said this on Facebook the other day, if she was a man, she'd already probably be in jail. Which is kind of reverse sexism. I don't even know how you call that, to hear a woman say that if a woman was a man, that they'd probably already be in jail. But trust me, the justice system will put a woman in jail just as fast as they would a man. So that's kind of comical in itself. But let's get to some of Donald Trump's choice quotes here. And man, and what's sad is the same thing these people have got conned into doing. And like I said, they're having buyer's remorse in Britain, or they're harping on the immigrants in their borders being porous. The same fallacies that Donald Trump's harping on. Which, like I said, I hate to laugh, but it was just stupid. Let me get to the good one. And first of all, Donald Trump's over there not promoting America, not trying to talk to foreign leaders. Donald Trump's over there promoting Donald Trump. He's over there trying to make a buck, man. You know what I mean? He had a chance to be, how many chances do we got to give this dude to be presidential? He gets another chance to be presidential and he totally blows it. Because he's over there, you know what I mean, being a carnival barker, trying to hype up his golf course and make a buck, man. That's basically it. That's all he's ever trying to do is make a buck. Honestly, I've already said I think he's a Democratic mole. He's set to destroy the Republican Party and improve the Trump brand and make a buck. And that's all I believe he's trying to do. Because win, lose, or draw, he's going to make a buck out of this deal. He's going to increase, you know what I mean, his brand name. But, like I said, the question is, impact of what's taking operation here in Britain, the markets are, and Donald Trump interrupts and says, right, well, nobody knows what the markets are. Look, if the pound goes down to do more business, you know, when the pound goes down, more people are going to come to Turnberry, frankly. So when he says, and the pound crashed today, the pound's the lowest it's been since 1985. And instead of Donald Trump saying, you know, something intelligent, something to calm people, something to sound presidential, he says, look, if the pound goes down, that means more people will come to my golf course and spend money. You know what I mean? And like I said, he says, look, if the pound goes down, they're going to do more business. You know, when the pound goes down, more people are going to come to Turnberry, frankly. And the pound has gone down, and let's see what the impact that has. But I think places like Scotland and England and different places in Great Britain, I think you're going to see a lot of activity. That's what he said. So, look, there he is. He has a chance to say something. And to finish the quote, my bad, the pound got high and people were able to do maybe what they wanted to do. But for traveling and for other things, I think it would be very well turn out to be a positive. He says, nobody really knows. You'll know in 5 years. You'll be able to analyze it. Maybe it will take longer than that. But what is known is they've taken back their independence. And that's a very, very important thing. Independence, they've always maintained their independence. And yet another reporter says something, finishes her question. She says it's a momentous time right now. You're on the world stage. Are you traveling with any of your foreign policy advisors? You knew that this is going to happen today. There was going to be some sort of a decision. Are you huddling with them to find out the best way? Donald Trump interrupts and says, well, I've been in touch with them, but there's nothing to talk about. Now, let's analyze this quote. Everybody else in the world, it's affecting every global marketplace, and the global marketplace, totally affecting every economic market there is. Japan's down, Germany's down, Russia's market's down. Look, the stock market's down, like I said, 600 points, 3.4%, I believe, which is massive. They say another 600 points come Monday, and we're back in a recession. So I'm talking about this is major here, man. And for folks who got a 401k, it took a dent today. And if it goes down another 600 points, 1,200 points is massive. You know what I mean? That's the kind of drop we had when Bush left office and the economy about collapsed. And Wall Street almost collapsed. But anyway, let's analyze his quote. He says he's been in touch with his advisors, but there's nothing to talk about. And that's what I'm saying. Here's his chance to be presidential. And he says there's nothing to talk about, even though everybody on the planet learned what Brexit is today, has been hearing about Brexit for weeks. It's affecting every financial market in the world. All of them are down. The pound's at the lowest it's been since 1985, and Donald Trump says there's nothing to talk about except for his golf course and how sweet it is, how nice it is, and that he's glad the pound's down because more people will come to his golf course and blow money that he can put in his pocket. And this is the guy that people want to be president. You know what I mean? That is insane. Because when it comes down to Donald Trump, all he wants to say is,
I'm really rich.
That's all he ever talks about is,
I'm really rich.
That's all he ever says, man. I'm talking about he should preface every sentence with,
I'm really rich.
right? Because he's always going to let you know.
I'm really rich.
And I know I'm beating the drum, beating it in the ground because he beats it in the ground. But let's continue on. He's saying, I've been in touch with them, but there's nothing to talk about. I've been saying I would prefer what happened. I thought this would be a good thing. I think it will turn out to be a good thing. Maybe not in the short term, but ultimately I think it will be a good thing. I've actually been in touch. And some, by the way, don't like it. And some do like it. He's talking about his advisors now. They're advisors. They're like everybody else. They probably know less, every one of these advisors. Now, he's just talking about his advisors don't know crap. I almost said the SH, but I'm going to hold back. He just said his advisors don't know nothing now. But he said, somebody said, gee, you should use advisors that have been really hot the last 5 years. I said, really? I think I want to use the ones that haven't been involved. Take a look at what happened in the world. And so basically, he says, they're saying, he just said himself, instead of using advisors that have been involved and know what's going on, he wants to use folks that don't know what's going on, that's not being in the thick of things. Once again, he's just saying clownish, bombastic, ignorant things, man. And the whole time they're asking these questions, he's trying to get back to how sweet his golf course is and how nice the sprinkler system is. He's not even trying to answer these questions. Like I said, just like a lot of his press conferences, it was totally bizarre, completely bizarre. Wait, but like I said, take a look what happened in the world. Let me finish. He goes, really, I think I'll use the ones that haven't been involved. Take a look at what's happened in the world. He says, go ahead, Katie. Whoever Katie is, she goes, a follow-up question. We've got a special relationship, the U.S. and the U.K., for quite some time now. With this vote, their standing in the world, their standing in Europe will certainly be diminished. Their influence will be diminished. Will that be the first call for you for the U.S. when seeking help? And Trump says, well, I don't know. First call or second call, they will be a very powerful call. It's going to be a great relationship. They're great allies. They've always been, I think, zero change on that score. There has never been an ally, and I think nothing would change on that score, Katie. And she comes back with, Mr. Trump, do you believe that the U.S. should move immediately to renegotiate trades with the U.K.? Or like President Obama has said, should the U.K. now move to the back of the line in light of the Brexit vote? And Trump, of course, well, President Obama did say, I guess, that they should move to the back of the line. Now, that would happen with me. The UK has been such a great ally for such a long time. They'll always be in front of the line. They've been amazing allies in good times and bad. He gets applause on that deal. And then he says, sometimes they make mistakes. Hey, but they, as we know, have always been great. Keep saying great allies. I will tell you, I think at this, and I was very surprised when I heard President Obama say that. And I think he said that because he thought for sure it was going to stay together, but it didn't stay together. And of course he thought it was going to stay together because all polls said it was going to stay together and it didn't. You know what I mean? But I hate keep harping on Trump, but man, he makes it so easy. He makes himself such an easy target. People's got to listen to what this guy is saying. He's saying a bunch of nothing. And look, you got to understand this guy is over there, like I said, hawking his golf course, man. He didn't even want to answer these questions. They kept throwing these questions at him, and between these answers, where he says his advisors, some say good, some say bad. I don't know. We got a nice golf course. Between that, all he keeps wanting to talk about is his golf course, and they're forcing these questions on him. And between these serious answers, he's talking about the thread counts and the sheets of the rooms. He's talking about how nice the rooms are, and they hadn't had that many complaints. Well, things only been open 2 weeks, and if it's so awesome, they shouldn't have no complaints, right? That's the way I look at it. Let's see. Look, he keeps saying he don't know nothing. Another question. Before I get off here, we talk about West Virginia because there's a horrible flood in West Virginia. There's 200 people trapped in, like I said, trapped in the mall. There's 20 people dead so far. It's crazy. All the flooding. Not to mention one side of the country is flooding. The other side of the country is on fire. There's fires out west that are record fires out west right now. And like I said, it's part of it, and people can call it what they want, but it's climate change that's causing this, man. But I'll get to that in just a minute. But like I said, the question is, a quick follow-up. I mean, the Treasury Secretary and the Fed Chairwoman have both said they expect this, that if Brexit was successful, to have a negative impact on the U.S. economy. Are you worried about that at all? Yes, Sarah. They don't know. I mean, look, we're going to have to see how it plays out. But see how it plays out. Why he's saying this, anybody that owns a phone, he's saying this. By the time he says this, the Dow's already down 300 points. So he can see in real time how it's playing out. All he's got to do is look at his phone, man. He looks at his phone plenty when he's tweeting at night. He needs to get on Twitter, maybe look, I don't know, Google. You know what I mean? Some type of, I guess he looks at Fox News. Some type of, I don't know what news site he looks at, but he can look at his phone and see while he's talking, the Dow's plummeted. He already knows that the pound is down record levels. So by the time he's saying this, the Dow's down 300 or 400 points. So we're seeing how it plays out. It's having a negative impact. You know what I mean? In real time. But it's down on what can you say, right? Well, like I said, they keep throwing questions at him. I can read. Let me just read. I hate to do it. Let me just read what he said about his golf course. Let's see. Because they're trying to ask him serious questions that any presidential candidate should be able to answer. But instead, this guy is talking about his golf course, man, which is insane. That shows you he's putting himself, he's always talking about America first. It's Donald Trump first. You know what I mean? It's Donald Trump first. And that's what you got to understand. It's always going to be Donald Trump first. You know what I mean? But let me get out here to the, let's see. Bear with me, man. Like I said, I don't have a staff. I don't have a budget. But like I said, and people are so gullible, man. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Let's see. Okay. We're going to go Washington Post. Okay, bear with me here, folks. Stay with me here, kids. This is the Washington Post. And the Washington Post, I ain't gonna lie, they've been vicious to Donald Trump. I'm talking about vicious, but for good reason, man. He's a clown. He's a clown. Let's see what it says. And we're talking about Trump's comments here. Trump's comments revealed one way the presumptive Republican nominee's financial holdings worldwide could create conflicts of interest if it was the presidential election in November. The price of the pound plummeted after the UK referendum, which Trump said would make it cheaper for international tourists to visit his Scottish resorts. Yet that same decline in the pound also put U.S. golf courses at a disadvantage relative to their competitors in Scotland. So even though I don't play golf, because you got to have a few coins to play golf. The pound plummeting hurts U.S. golf courses. So once again, he's not even putting U.S. golf courses first. He's putting Trump first in foreign golf courses. So how's that making America great? That's making American golf courses not great at all. It's making them kind of crummy, right? But like I said, but on the campaign trail, Trump promises to defend U.S. firms' interests vigorously, yet he stands to make money if economic trends favor the competitors overseas. When the pound goes down, more people are coming to Turnberry, frankly, Trump told reporters in Turnberry, for traveling and for other things. I think it could very well turn out to be a positive. A positive for who? For Donald Trump. You know what I mean? That's what you got to put on the end of that quote. And I said the quote earlier. It'll be a positive for America, for American golf courses, for American economics. No, a positive for Donald Trump and Donald Trump's interest, right? But this is the guy who's going to make America great again. But he's not opening some fancy golf course in America, is he? No, he's over in Scotland. And there's a documentary out. It's called Trump with the ED. And it's about this golf course. I don't think it's Turnberry. I had to look it up. But it probably is. He tried to build this golf course in Scotland, and he bought all these people out, and he started destroying the natural beauty surrounding this golf course. There were sand dunes that had been there thousands of years that he destroyed, man. And there was one dude who refused to sell out. This dude was awesome. He refused to sell out, and Trump offered him. And look, you have to understand, this dude on a little bitty crappy farm with a bunch of junk cars on it. And his place probably wasn't worth but $30,000. Trump at one time offered him millions, I think $5 million. And dude refused to take his money and hated Trump so much. He put up signs that said, F Trump, screw Trump, blow me, and all kind of stuff. And said he wouldn't sell out, not even for $100 million. So Trump owned everything around him. And at one point, Trump tried to turn the dude's water off to try to get him to leave. To show you what type of nice guy he is, Trump turned this dude's water off, you know what I mean, to try to sweat him out. You know what I mean? His water would do, could even drink water or do dishes or take a bath. You know what I mean? All over this golf course. And of course, this dude went to court, and the court made Trump turn his water back on. But that just shows you how ruthless Trump is and how much he's all about making a buck, and he's all about Trump. Pays way less than any other normal person like me or you. Instead of paying 30 to 40%, he's probably paying less than 12%. A lot of people said he's paying more like 2 to 5% if he's paying taxes at all, or he's scared that people will find out that he's worth way less than the $10 billion that he says he's worth. I know he's lying. I know he's not worth $10 billion. I know for a fact. You know what I mean? Forbes has said it. Fortune magazine has said it. A dude that used to be his personal biographer that he sued come out and said he's not worth nowhere near $5 billion. He said he's only worth $250 million, and Trump sued him for saying it or writing it in a book, and Trump lost the lawsuit. You know what I mean? But they sealed the records, court records, so we won't know if he's really worth $250 million. But like I said, classic Trump, man. But like I said, we got to understand that this guy is a danger to the United States. And when I say danger, I mean that danger. I mean, this dude has no effing clue of what's going on. Not only could it could be an economic holocaust, he could give us a nuclear holocaust with this ban on Muslims and his bombastic rhetoric and his warmongering. And the fact that he's totally clueless and has no foreign policy experience whatsoever, and everybody in the world hates him. The only people who's endorsed him are Kim Jong-un and Putin. Putin and Kim Jong-un are the only two dudes, foreign countries, that's not laughing at us or laughing at Trump. So what does that tell you? When two of our biggest possible enemies are endorsing this cat, right? We know Kim Jong-un is a psycho, and Putin's basically a dictator. So do you think they're endorsing Trump because they think he'll do a good job? Because they think he's a joke, he's a clown, and they can get over on him? They're endorsing this cat because they think they can get over on him and that he'll make America weaker or vulnerable. I promise you. They're not rooting for him because he's competent. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time you've heard of an enemy rooting for a presidential candidate because they're competent? You know what I mean? And that's crazy. We're talking about the leader of North Korea endorsing Trump, basically, and Putin. So what does that tell you? But every other leader in the free world is laughing at the dude and calling him a joke. But like I said, I'm down to my last 2 minutes, so I'm gonna get off here. But before I get off here, man, my heart goes out because, like I said, in West Virginia right now, I'm talking about this massive record, historic flooding. 8-year-old boys died, a baby's died. It's massive floods. Like I said, there's 8 to 10 inches of rain fell in 6 to 8 hours, which is insane in West Virginia. Like I said, the National Weather Service said that amount of rain in such a short time is a 1 in 1,000-year event. So don't tell me climate change don't exist, because they're saying to get 8 inches of rain in 6 to 8 hours is a 1 in 1,000-year event. You know what I mean? So that's not coincidence, trust me. So one end of the country's underwater, the other end of the country's on fire. But we keep denying, you know what I mean, what they used to call global warming was basically climate change. People, we got to get smarter, man. We got to get smarter. You would think we're in the information age and people are getting dumber. What's wrong with us, America? Really, wake up, man. Be smarter. Use Google. Read something. You know what I mean? Read. Use your brain. You know what I mean? Can't you read? Didn't everybody go to school and learn to read? Learn to read, man. Read something other than Facebook or Twitter. Really, get your news from actual news sources. Like I said, I'm going to do this 30 minutes, even though I'm in a lot of pain, because I had a needle put in my spine the other day. They hit the nerve, and I think they've done more damage. So I'm going to do this 30, and I'm going to upload 30 of me and Chase Brady debating, even though I can't get him to do another 30 with me for some reason. Don't be scared, Chase. Don't run, chump. Come and face me. But this is Shooting the Breeze with your man, Byron Lloyd, and I'm Audi 5000G.